Hey everyone, welcome to my office hours, August 29th, 2023. This is really going to be the last office hours that I riff on something. Uh, from here on out, it really is going to be what it was intended to be, which is a time for people in the community to have access to me without having to physically be somewhere and just make it easy, reduce the friction, and make it just easy for people to connect with me, ask me questions through the comments on Facebook Live, YouTube Live. Um, have kind of a conversation. It's kind of a one-way conversation since I can't bring you on to talk. I wish I could, um, but you can ask questions. Mention topics you want to talk about, and we'll talk about. And that is what it was intended to be. And that's what it is going to get back to being moving forward after today. Um, because I can just record a quick video clip and share it, thoughts or riffs anytime. I don't really want to stand up here and lecture and preach. That's just not something. I mean, I have two podcasts and I interview people because I want to hear other people talk. I don't want to hear myself talk. Um, but the reason this one is going to be a little different, excuse me, is just to put some things to bed, once and for all. I'm going to say some things today. It's the last time I'm going to say it um, because I'm not going to get into petty back and forth with wannabe politicians, wannabe big shot politicians. There's just, I have a day job. I have kids, a family, and the petty political crap is just, I'm not going to deal with it. We live in Liberty Lake, um, not DC. So the lies, the finger pointing, the misinformation, disinformation, the disinformation is really what is a big problem. You have people like Chris Cargill, my opponent Jed Spencer, who post things in their little echo chambers and in social media and Facebook, um, and blatant lies, misinformation. And this is a tactic that a lot of politicians do, right? They want to deflect. They want to try to accuse other people of doing the things that they're actually doing. They want to spread misinformation because the first thing people hear is the thing that they remember. They're not going to remember when the truth actually comes out, if they even see the truth. And so this is just a political tactic that especially MAGA candidates like Cargill, like Jed Spencer, love to do, especially the deflection. I mean, that's a very popular thing, saying stop bullying, no intimidation, and then 5 minutes later, Cargill comes out bullying people. Like it's laughable, really. So, so I'm going to say this one last time, and I'm not going to cover it again. This is a nonpartisan position, and I'm a nonpartisan candidate. I'm not a lib. I'm not a progressive. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm not MAGA. Certainly not MAGA. I'm more conservative, probably than anything, but I would say I'm a moderate, um, with feet on both sides on certain issues. Um, so so stop calling candidates libs, liberals, Democrats, um, because I know the people. I mean, I could just call you MAGAs because you are. So with the dirty stuff that you're pulling, um, and maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll just start referring to Chris Cargill as MAGA, Jed as MAGA. Um, See how much they enjoy that. But what I really want to talk about today, I mean, the misinformation I wanted to discuss. I mean, there's some stuff going on with political signs, which is shocking to me because it's illegal to remove political signs. I know that no one that I'm affiliated with, any volunteers helping me, have removed any because that's just unconscionable. It's not something that I'm would be a part of, and the people that I've selected as volunteers to help me would do. So there's something strange going on. I hope we get to the bottom of it. I hope it's not staged by my opponent or people affiliated with him or other people, other organizations. I mean, I guess I wouldn't put it past people in a political race to stage something and try to blame the other people. But until you have facts, shut your mouth. Don't mention people by name until or unless you have proof and facts. Otherwise, it's defamation. If you're out there posting on Facebook, calling out people by name, accusing them of something you have absolutely no proof about, that is defamation. So, where council member Cargill posted up about laws and regulations about stealing signs, there are also regulations and laws about defamation. So be careful. Secondly, what I want to talk about, not so much laws, but probably more regulation. Um, and it's really what so the library shenanigans got me off the sidelines. That's pretty well known by now. Because I thought Liberty Lake, we're an open-minded community, not a hate-filled community, open towards a lot of people. And I thought this can't be happening in Liberty Lake, where city council wants to take control of a library board and start banning books. What is this, Texas? But then it was happening. And that got my attention because I was thinking everything was fine, that everyone in city council had a brain. Apparently not. Apparently only 3 people plus the mayor have a brain. And so that really agitated me. It made me mad that something like that could happen in Liberty Lake. Even me being a longtime conservative, I don't like government overreach. I don't like the government telling me what I'm going to read. And so to me, that just went against my values and principles and was clear government overreach. And so once that happened, once that got on my radar, I started to dig and I wanted to find out what's going on here. Who's spearheading this? Who's leading this? Why is this happening in Liberty Lake? And I started to connect some dots, put some things together. It seemed that Chris Cargill was kind of a vocal proponent of this. I started to look into who Chris Cargill was, and found out that he is the founder of a nonpartisan, and I put that in air quotes for a reason, a nonprofit in Idaho. This nonpartisan, which it's anything but nonpartisan. If you look at their events, their guests are Ben Carson, someone I used to respect a lot, someone that I supported throughout the primaries in 2016. Really impressed with him, really liked him. Neurosurgeon, retired neurosurgeon, and then he lost his spine. So maybe he needs to go back and perform surgery, get his spine back because he just caved to MAGA. Lost all respect for Ben Carson, but he is one of their guests at one of their fundraising events, where they fundraise to change policy. Let that sink in for a second. Another guest, Kim Strassel, conservative columnist for the Wall Street Journal, has written a book bashing President Biden. It doesn't seem nonpartisan to me. Kayleigh McEnany. I don't even need to say anything more about that clown. So you can see it's not very nonpartisan. And this organization accepts money to influence and change policy. Interesting. And he's the founder of this. So he's making money. He's getting people paying him to change policy in Liberty Lake. He's getting people in Idaho and Montana and probably Texas and all these other states to change our policy in Liberty Lake. The only people that change policy in Liberty Lake are the people who live in Liberty Lake, not people donating to a city council member. So when I saw that, I was kind of shocked that he was even still on the city council, because to me, that's a clear conflict of interest. Now, let me read you a definition of a conflict of interest from the University of Central Florida. Conflict of interest occurs when an individual's personal interests, family, friendships, financial, or social factors could compromise his or her judgment, decisions, or actions in the workplace. Government agencies take conflicts of interest so seriously that they are regulated. Financial conflict that could compromise someone's judgment, decisions, or actions. That seems to me like a pretty clear conflict of interest here. And I don't understand how he's still on city council. So my plan has always been get on city council, file a complaint, work it from the inside out. If I lose, I'm going to still file a complaint after the election and work it from the outside in. Because to me, it feels as a citizen, not as a candidate, as a citizen of Liberty Lake. When I found that out, I wasn't running for anything. I didn't want to run for anything. I'm not a politician, and I'm certainly not going to change who I am, change the way I act just because I'm running for city council. So I know Mr. Cargill has tried to point out that I've said bullshit or shit on these live streams. If that offends you so much, more so than this conflict of interest of outside sources trying to influence our Liberty Lake policy, if that upsets you more than that, there's nothing I can do. We're adults. That's who I am. Like I said, I'm not changing who I am to be some phony. I'm not a wannabe big time politician. This isn't my life goal and work to be on city council and then move into other government. I have no interest. In fact, I'm running to basically get the city council back on track, to work with members like Annie Kurtz, Dan Dunn, the mayor who are sensible and pragmatic about things. Get back to focusing on the things that matter and moving Liberty Lake forward, focusing on our city's growth, keeping everyone safe, providing our law enforcement with everything they need to do their job. They're doing a great job. We need to make sure that they're able to continue to do a great job. We've got things we have to focus on. Culture wars and politics outside of our city are not things that we need to be focused on. So I'm running to take out the trash, basically, to clean up the mess and it's a 2-year term because my opponent, Jed Spencer, was appointed, not elected. And I plan to serve my 2 years, and then that's it. Because I am not a career politician. I don't want to be. I'm a marketer, and that's what I want to be, a marketer and a dad and a husband. And I want to settle back into the community and assimilate back in. So I will help anyone who wants to run in my seat, who shares the same values and commitment toward our city. I will do what I can to help them, but I plan to run and serve for 2 years, and that's it. We need to get back on track. And so that's, when I saw those things as a citizen, the more I dug, the more I learned about Chris Cargill, the more I felt like I was playing on a team whose manager bet against us. I'm a Reds fan, one of the greatest Cincinnati Reds players to ever play, and they're the oldest franchise in Major League Baseball. One of their best players is not in the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's Pete Rose, because when he was a manager, he bet on the team. And he is basically banned from baseball for life. And that's kind of what it feels like. It feels like we're being cheated on. It feels like we're being taken advantage of. And it feels like we're being bet against by one of our own. And it's made me mad. It's made me angry. And I can't believe it's allowed to happen. And so the first thing that I'll be focused on when I am elected is the budget, which will take place in November. And so it'll be hit the ground running. That's focus number one. After that, it will be ethics, and it will be corruption, and it will be conflicts of interest that get addressed and ensure that Liberty Lake's best interests are being taken up by all city council members. So that's going to be the second thing I focus on after we get the city budget nailed down in November. So how did I pick Jed Spencer? There's 6 seats available. 6 seats. Could have picked any one of them. But I did some research, talked to people, found out that Jed's pretty close with Chris. They share a lot of the same ideologies. That Jed is essentially an extension of Cargill's vote. So he basically gets his vote doubled. Sure, there's some things where Jed will vote opposite, little things, but the meaningful things, taking away our freedoms, telling us what we're going to read and check out from the library, a library that was built on the sweat and volunteerism of a group of people in Liberty Lake until we could raise enough money to put it together to afford to build it, because we didn't want to join the Spokane County Library and have our revenue go toward the county. We wanted to keep it in Liberty Lake. And a lot went into building our library. And it's a great library, fantastic library. And then we've got some people in city council that want to tell us what we can read and check out, what our kids can read. No thanks. Not here, not now, not anytime. And so it was those ties, that closeness to Chris Cargill that made Jed the target for me. And that's who I chose to run against. I had known that Annie and Dan are 2 of our best council members, hands down. So there's no way I was going to run against them, because even if I lose, I want them back on the council, because they're great at what they do. They're pragmatic. They think things through. They're not emotional, and they have all of the characteristics that make great leaders. They don't finger point. They don't play political games. They put their head down and they get shit done. And that's what we need more of. And that's what I plan to do. So once I'm in city council, my page, travislscott.com, is going to go back to being my own personal page. I spun it up for this. It was something else. You can probably find some personal blog posts on there because it was really my place where I could write and be creative and kind of highlight some of the things that I do professionally and hobbies. So it'll go back to being that. I will not be involved in social media and talking about city affairs. I certainly won't be missing critical city meetings to go be a Facebook warrior. And so my talking about politics ends once I'm elected. And I can't wait. I can't wait to stop talking about this stuff because I hate politics. I hate how it's getting dirty and the stuff, the disinformation that's being spread by Jed and Cargill. It's really sad is what it is. It's really sad and disappointing. And it's not leadership in any way. I wonder what Chris Cargill does during the day because it seems like he's on Facebook all the time. So that's really why I'm running. I feel like there's just some stuff that's really bad. When I thought things were okay, I realized they're not. Got me off the sidelines, and it's time to clean up the mess that we've got and get things back on track to what is really important for everyone in Liberty Lake. So that's what I've got. I usually do some housekeeping at the beginning of this, and I'm going to do it now. I have an event that I'm hosting tomorrow at Trailbreaker at 5:30 here in Liberty Lake. I've invited some other candidates who I either know or have gotten to know through this process to come, and I'm a big proponent of events and getting people together to talk. And so I've invited them to my event tomorrow to make themselves available. And so some, not all of the candidates will be there. Others have obligations already, but some will be there. If you want to talk with them, show up. I know Annie will be there. And I think Michael Hamblett and Teresa might be there. So if you'd like to talk with them, stop by, grab a drink, and let's chat. I will be doing another event in September. Not sure where, when, or what. It won't be a joint thing. It's going to be just an event for my campaign. Another way to meet people again, get people together. So keep an eye out for that. If you're not subscribed to my email list, subscribe at travislscott.com. I'll put it in the comments so that you can easily go to it and subscribe. It'll be there. Let's see, you've got my walk, my weekly walk. If you're interested, I can send you a link to RSVP. It's RSVP only so that I know who I need to meet there and how many people to expect. We meet at Rocky Hill Park in the parking lot, not in the parking lot, the sidewalk next to the parking lot at 8 a.m. I usually wait around for a couple minutes after in case people are running late. And then we walk and we talk. And so it's been a lot of fun to do that and to meet people that way and just have a conversation while we're out getting fresh air. So would love for you to RSVP for that. If you subscribe to my newsletter, there is an RSVP link in the newsletter. If you're interested, let me know and I can send you a link to RSVP for that. So comment here on the recording or shoot me a messenger. Would love to have you there. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have. Again, the next office hours, there will not be one next week with the Labor Day holiday being a holiday week, a short week. There will not be office hours next week. Will not be a walk next week either. But everything else will resume. Office hours will resume on September 12th. And the walk and talk on Fridays at 8 a.m. will resume on the 15th. So that's what I've got. I hate to have to come out and talk about these things, but I've just kind of been pushed to where I'm sick of the nonsense. And I kind of figured it would come to this in doing the research that I did and kind of knowing where these people come from, kind of where they align along those mega lines. I anticipated it getting a little chippy and a little nasty, and there to be some deflection and some misinformation. I didn't think it would be as bad as it has been, but I anticipated a little bit of it. But it's sad that that's where we are. So from here on out, I'm not gonna tell people about a nonpartisan race. You know that I'm nonpartisan. You know what I'm about. Now you know exactly why I decided to run and what's fueling my desire to be on city council and why I think we need Jed Spencer out and Cargill out as well. That's just going to have to take some other avenues legally. But we need to get back on track. We need to get the political partisan crap out of city council and move forward. Liberty Lake together. So that's what I've got. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Have a great Labor Day, and hopefully I'll see you around at the Symphony at Pavilion Park or around the city over the nice long weekend.